This is episode 44, songs 2140 to 2121.
Christopher Williams, Billboard Top 3000.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Chris's Billboard Top 3000 Countdown podcast, where I discuss a set of 20 songs as they are ranked on Billboard's Hot 100 All-Time Countdown. Now, these songs come from Billboard's Hot 100 from the initial chart on August 4th, 1958, all the way to the end of 2022, a span covering over 60 years of the rock era. Now, Billboard assigns a point value based on the number of weeks on the chart, its peak position, and how long it stayed there, and it's weighted for different times during the rock era. Those points were all tabulated up of the over 12,500 songs that have hit the top 40 in that time period. Then we carve off the top 3,000, and then I discuss them in sets of 20. Olivia Newton-John returns to this countdown to lead off this set. If I had to pick someone that has the most similarity in my generation to what Taylor Swift is now, it would be Olivia Newton-John, I think, because they both started out as country performers, kind of soft-spoken country performers, and then proceeded to be powerhouse pop idols and icon sensations later in their career. Obviously, Taylor Swift's reign has been a lot longer than Olivia Newton-John's, but not by a whole lot. She was very consistent for a good decade between her first hits in 1974 to this particular hit, which is her last top 10 hit called Twist of Fate from the movie soundtrack Two of a Kind that paired her back up with co-star from Grease, John Travolta. It's a really good 80s rock tune, went all the way up to number 5 in 1983 after spending 14 weeks in the top 40. Leads off this set. This is Olivia Newton-John with Twist of Fate, song number 2140.
It's gonna be a strange twist of fate, telling me that heaven can wait, telling me to get it right this time. Life doesn't mean nothing without the love you bring.
She has such a friendly, bubbly personality to go with that rock-solid voice of hers. Olivia Newton-John. This is her third hit on the countdown. All of them have hit number 5 to this point. If You Love Me, Let Me Know was a number 5 hit at song 2384, and Summer Nights, duet with John Travolta, was also a number 5 hit at song 2308. Twist of Fate's the same way at song number 2140. We're not done with her, not by a long shot. We got 10 more songs from Olivia Newton-John in seasons 2 and season 3. I'm glad we started off with an 80s song in this set. We're hitting a bit of an 80s milestone in this set. I will let you know what that means when we get to it. And we'll also play around with other decades and how close they are to the same type of milestone. You will learn that there are a lot of 80s songs still to go in this countdown. We have a couple more number ones in this set, including one from 2020, a song I like very much, a number 1 song during the COVID months, a number 2 hit from a band who is known from one of the greatest number 2 songs of all time, and an actor who sang for a TV show that they were on that didn't last long, but the song sure did, and one of the top pop singers of the entire rock era that we have not heard from yet. And I look forward to introducing her to this Top 3000 countdown. Our special segment today is on the shortest titles of songs that are on this countdown. There's some that are 2 letters. There's some that are 1 letter. Let's run through the catalog of them, shall we? Lots of good stuff. I look forward to reviewing and introducing them to you as we get closer and closer to the Christmas holiday. I should mention, though, there are no Christmas songs in this set of 20. So if you want to hear Christmas songs, turn it to Channel 4 on your Sirius Satellite XM radio dial. Continue to listen to this podcast, and I got 19 more wonderful songs for you, starting with song number 2139. I had always thought David Lee Roth would make a great smarmy 80s high school villain. Even better maybe than the Johnny Lawrence character played by Bill Zabka in The Karate Kid. Don't you think he would be good at that? Or if not the Johnny Lawrence character, his sensei, Kreese. Although Kreese was a little more angry, David Lee Roth would play it with a smile on his face the entire time. But for real, he's a vaudeville guy, or the wonderful carnival barker at the circus. He does that a bit in his remake of the Beach Boys classic California Girls, where he is the tour bus guide in the music video. His rendition of it, a very good rendition I must add, actually outpaced the Beach Boys hit. They both peaked at number 3, but California Girls spent 2 more weeks in the David Lee Roth version in the top 40 than the Beach Boys did. And as a result, it's higher on this countdown. It's song number 2139. Here's David Lee Roth with California Girls.
I dig the girls.
The original Beach Boys version landed at song number 2933 in this countdown. David Lee Roth beats it by almost 800 spots at song number 2139 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. The former frontman had 4 top 40 songs as a solo artist. This was his only one that qualified. It was a number 3 hit. I have lots of good nostalgic memories of this next song, a song about nostalgic memories from an earlier time with the band that he was in. George Harrison made a tribute song for his former friend and bandmate John Lennon after he was killed in December of 1980. Did you know that Ringo Starr played drums in this track? And Paul McCartney even lent his hand along with some Wings bandmates on the original recording. It was a labor of Beatles love, and it's interesting that he talks about all those years ago from 1981 going back to the Beatles eras of the 60s. We're only about 10 to 15 years apart. And the fact that we're now 45 years removed from when all those years ago came out. It was a number 2 hit that spent 3 weeks up there. And because it was a number 2 song, what song kept it out of the number 1 position? Well, like any other song in 1981, it was either Endless Love or Betty Davis Eyes. In this case, it was Betty Davis Eyes. It debuted on the charts on May 23rd, 1981, and moved up to the number 2 position 7 weeks later, but had a short shelf life after it fell out of the number 2. It went to 11, 21, and then completely gone, which is why it's a little lower than I thought it was going to be. But it does make it at song number 2138. It's such a sweet song, very reminiscent of the Beatles songs of the 60s. This is George Harrison with song number 2138, All Those Years Ago.
Shouting all about love. Well, they treated you like a dog, and you were the one who had made it so clear all those years ago.
For nostalgic nuts like myself, this is the perfect nostalgic song. George Harrison with All Those Years Ago, song number 2138. He had quite the successful solo career in the top 40 with 13 hits. 5 of them made the top 10. What Is Life was a number 10 hit, and then 4 others. This one a number 2 hit, and 3 number 1s, which we're going to be hearing in seasons 2 and seasons 3. That was George Harrison. Song number 2137 is a one-hit wonder, and I had to look this one up to see if this was actually written in the 30s for some kind of musical, because that's exactly what it sounds like, but it's not. It was written by Eileen Sylvia Smith and recorded by her husband and record producer Hurricane Smith. And in 1973, it went all the way up to number 3 after spending 12 weeks in the top 40. The one-hit wonder for Hurricane Smith, it's called Oh Babe, What Would You Say? Take a listen to this song and tell me you wouldn't think this came from a musical.
Just to walk with you along the Milky Way, to caress you through the nighttime, bring you flowers every day. Oh, babe, what would you say?
Norman Hurricane Smith was a musician, producer, and engineer. He actually engineered all of the Beatles' EMI studio recordings up to the end of 1965. He even produced Pink Floyd albums. So that's where his bread was buttered, but he did have the one hit, Oh Babe, What Would You Say, from 1973, song number 2137 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. Song number 2136 is also a one-hit wonder from Louisiana R&B singer Barbara George. The song from 1962 called I Know You Don't Love Me No More was written and recorded by Barbara, but it was also covered by quite a few famous artists like Fats Domino, Cher, Ike and Tina Turner, and even Bonnie Raitt. It's in that classic 60s R&B style, and in 1962 went all the way up to number 3 on the pop charts after spending 11 weeks in the top 40. This is song number 2136, Barbara George and her one and only hit, I Know You Don't Love Me No More. There was actually a Latin version of this song that was recorded in 1988 by Maricela for the soundtrack of the film Salsa, which was then covered by Spanish singer Enrique Elizondo, and then that hit number 1 on the Latin American charts in the late 80s. So this song has a lot of tentacles to it. I Know You Don't Love Me No More by Barbara George, song number 2136 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. We just got through 2 one-hit wonders on this countdown. I think this is a good time for me to post my correction from the last set. I had mentioned in the previous podcast about the band Spandau Ballet with their number 4 80s classic True, and I said that they were a one-hit wonder. Well, it was pointed out to me by Jeffrey Mosher and Dan Ruskin that that's not the case. They actually had 2 more top 40 hits, both in 1984, one called Gold, which peaked at number 29, and one called Only When You Leave, that peaked at number 34. So they were, in fact, a 3-hit wonder, Spandau Ballet. Thank you for the correction. I appreciate it. Now's the time where I plug my show a little bit. Did you know that I've got a Facebook group called Chris Billboard Top 3000 Facebook group? If you're not on it, please join it. There's 317 members, and we have a good time. We discuss various music countdown items. I plug the next podcast, give some hints and quirks, and even some questions that, if answered, can show up in this podcast. It requires you to request to join, and please do so, and I will definitely approve you in. It's a wonderful little place to hang out. In addition, if you are a Facebook member, and that's how you found me, and you're getting to these podcasts by clicking on the link that I have in the Facebook group, you can also get to me in a number of other places. In fact, anywhere you can get podcasts. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Apple. You can find me on Amazon. You can find me on CastBox. You can find me on iHeartRadio and about 30 or 40 other places. Victor Reader's Stream, I know, is one that's out there. Just search for Chris Billboard Top 3000 in your favorite podcast area. Look for my avatar and then click on it. And then click to subscribe. So every time I drop a new episode, you'll be notified of it. And you can always stay up to date. Anyway, there's my plug after the 5 songs, as tradition. Let's move on to song number 2135, shall we? And another one-hit wonder. Well, sort of. This was a supergroup. We've had 3 sets in a row where we've had supergroups come out of it. 2 sets ago, we had the Power Station, and last set, we had Asia. This supergroup, featuring 3 R&B superstars, Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, and Johnny Gill. They call themselves LSG for Levert, Sweat, Gill. Keith Sweat, the solo artist, Gerald Levert, along with his brother Sean, formed the group Levert back in the late 80s. And, of course, Johnny Gill from New Edition. They had just one hit on the countdown, the oozing sexuality R&B smash My Body, which in 1997 hit number 4 after spending 18 weeks in the top 40. It lands right here at song number 2135. This is LSG with My Body.
Your body all over my body. All over my body. All over your body. It's your body.
If the 70s were the decade where R&B singers were talking about extramarital affairs, the 90s were the decade where they were describing sexuality in detail, just clean enough to keep it on the air, right? That was LSG with their one and only hit, My Body, song number 2135. We're going to hear Johnny Gill and Keith Sweat again as solo artists. Levert, we only heard the one time, the song Casanova at song 2598. But this is Levert's last opportunity to get into this countdown. Song number 2134. Shall we go for 4 consecutive one-hit wonders? Not quite. This artist actually had 2 hits. A number 1 hit and then a follow-up which peaked at 32, so almost. We go to 2007 and New York City rapper Mims, the last name of Sean Maurice Mims, who had some moderate success in Canada in the early aughts before breaking out with the hit This Is Why I'm Hot in 2007, which went all the way to number 1. This was before he signed with a major record label. It was the result of this song and its increased airplay that caused a multi-million-dollar bidding war for his services, with EMI and Capitol winning the bids. It debuted in the top 40 on March 3rd, 2007 at song 32, and in the very next week shot up 31 spots all the way to number 1, where it stayed for 2 weeks before falling to number 2 and then slid down the top 10. It only spent 18 weeks in the top 40 as a whole, but it had that hot 2 weeks that gets it to song number 2134. This is Mims with This Is Why I'm Hot.
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot cause I'm fly. You ain't cause you not. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. I don't gotta rap. I could sell a mill saying nothing on the track. I represent New York. I got it on my back. Niggas say that we lost it, so I'ma bring it back.
Mims, unfortunately, was never able to replicate the success of his first track, This Is Why I'm Hot. He had the follow-up like this that peaked at number 32. Then the follow-up, Move If You Wanna, in 2008, can only make it up to number 61. That's the last time that he ever hit the top 100. But he does have a number 1 hit, which is things that a lot of artists couldn't say, like Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bruce Springsteen, and the Pointer Sisters. But Mims has got one, and it's song number 2134. Song number 2133 is certainly not a one-hit wonder, but this is also a demarcation line. If you're going to draw lines in the sand of this countdown, this is a good place to draw it. I was mentioning earlier in the podcast, it has to do with 80s hits. If I were to make a top 500 countdown specifically of just 80s songs, this would be song number 500. So I decided to play around with the other decades as well. There is no other decade that still has that many songs in the countdown. In the 50s, well, there were only 2 years, there are 58 songs remaining at this point. In the 60s, there are 343. In the 70s, there were 450. In the 80s, like I've mentioned, there's exactly 500. In the 90s, there are 288. And everything from the year 2000 and after, I'm including 22 years here, 494. So it just goes to show you the sheer volume of highly ranked songs that are coming from the decade of the 80s. And let's get to song number 500. This is really song 2133 in my countdown, but it comes from 80s pop star Irene Cara. Born in the Bronx, she was quite successful before she ever had a recording career as an actress, appearing in Broadway and off-Broadway plays and even in some television. She really busted out into stardom with her starring role as Coco Hernandez in the musical movie Fame, of which she sang the title song. This song went all the way up to number 4 in 1980, and it's right here at song number 2133. This is Irene Cara. Do you remember her name? This is Fame.
Don't you know who I am? Remember my name. Hey, I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly. Oh, I feel it coming together. People will see me and cry.
Irene Cara had 6 top 40 hits in her career, including the 1984 hit Breakdance, but Her big hit, of course, is Flashdance What a Feeling, the number one smash that will be in season 3, not just season 3, it'll be one of the top 100 songs of all time. This is her second biggest hit, Fame, Irene Cara, song number 2133 on Billboard's top 3,000 songs of all time. The Ohio R&B group, the OJs, is back in the countdown with their second of 4 hits. Their first one, Backstabbers, we heard it, song number 2237. Their second hit was a 1978 number 4 hit called Used to Be My Girl. Of the 9 top 40 hits they had in their career, this was their 8th one. So this was towards the end of their heyday, and it has that nice, smooth, slick OJ's style, a little like a 70s version of The Temptations. This is the OJs with song number 2132, Used to Be My Girl.
Wanted more than I could give, but as long as I live, she'll be my girl. She used to be my girl. She used to be my girl. She had a charming personality.
One of the signature and best-known hits from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, the OJs, Used to Be My Girl, song number 2132. They've got 2 hits left on this countdown, including their number 1 hit, Love Train. That'll be in season 2. Song number 2131. We're up to the 5th of 9 hits by the rock band Foreigner. Foreigner, who is famously known for their number 2 hit, Waiting for a Girl Like You, that spent 10 agonizing weeks at number 2, waiting for Physical and I Can't Go For That to complete their number 1 runs before it slipped out, never hitting number 1. They had said once that they're known for making number 1 albums and number 2 records. Well, Waiting for a Girl Like You wasn't their only number 2 song. They had a number 2 song in 1978 called Double Vision. And because it hit number 2, what song kept this one out of the top spot? Well, it wasn't Physical. It debuted in the top 40 at song 38 on September 30th, 1978, and did a slow climb up the charts where it hit number 2 8 weeks later on November 18th and stayed there for 2 weeks, right about the time of the end of the year cutover. So it didn't even get full credit for the year 1978 because some of its chart position was in 1979. But both weeks it was held out of the top spot by Donna Summer's disco smash MacArthur Park before it eventually fell to 6 and then out of the countdown just 3 weeks later. But this is Foreigner at song number 2131, their rock smash Double Vision.
I wanna stick around till I can't see straight. Fill my eyes with that double vision. No disguise for that double vision.
When I'm done with the first 1,000 songs, the end of season 1 per se, I'm going to do a little mini countdown of the top artists of the first 1,000 songs. Foreigner will be on there because this was their 5th hit after I Don't Want to Live Without You, Feels Like the First Time, Cold as Ice, and Say You Will. That was Double Vision, their last song of this season. Their final 4 will be in seasons 2 and 3, but this one is Double Vision, song number 2131, and we are halfway done with this set. One of the more underrated epic classic rock songs, in my opinion, is I'm Your Captain, Closer to Home, the 10-minute song by Grand Funk Railroad in 1970. It was their first top 40 hit and peaked at number 22, but I think it's as epic and as great as some of the all-time classic rock epics like Kashmir or Stairway to Heaven or Freebird or In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. In that type of mold, it just had a intense but beautiful jam, and it ended with the 5 minutes of him singing I'm Closer to Home with the sound of the seas in the background. I would say it is some kind of wonderful, and there's my not too subtle segue into their other hit that was more popular on the charts, Some Kind of Wonderful, another incredible rock jam from Grand Funk Railroad that peaked at number 3 in 1975. It appears here on this countdown countdown. It's song number 2130. Here is the always awesome Detroit-based Grand Funk Railroad with Some Kind of Wonderful.
My baby, she's alright. Well, my baby's clean out of sight. Don't you know that she's some kind of wonderful? She's some kind of wonderful. Yes, she is. She's some kind of wonderful.
In the annals of classic rockdom, Grand Funk Railroad is terminally underrated. It's the second time we've heard them. We heard Bad Time, a number 4 hit that was at song 2608. They have 2 more hits on this countdown, both number 1s, one in season 2 and one in season 3. The Locomotion, the Little Eva remake from the 60s, and We're an American Band, the 1973 smash. We will hear them both later. That was Grand Funk Railroad's song number 2130, Some Kind of Wonderful. Speaking of underrated, I know that she has 31 top 40 hits in her career, including 10 number 1s. But I always got the feeling that Janet Jackson was also underrated. She was certainly underrated in her family by the Jacksons, and especially Michael, who was the most successful pop singer of the 80s and perhaps of all time. But she was also kind of second fiddle to Madonna, to Whitney Houston, to Mariah Carey. They seem to be the divas of that generation, of that era, while Janet Jackson was kind of a step behind, despite the enormous success that she has had on the pop charts and around the world, concerts and the like. I asked the Facebook group, what is your favorite song by Janet Jackson? And got some good responses. And remember, if you do make a response, that response could be mentioned in a future podcast. My friend Amy Bergseth says Nasty, the actual Janet Jackson title, not just nasty as a word. Elizabeth Armstrong, Rhythm Nation. Julie Beckman, Black Cat and Nasty. Mark Scanlon, Love Will Never Do. It's her best video, too. Diego Figueroa says Love Will Never Do and Miss You Much and Runaway and Escapade. Dennis Ducat, I hope I'm pronouncing that last name properly, but says Black Cat. Couple of Black Cats. So far, all of the songs are really good and very well known, which just kind of shows the large catalog that she had throughout her career. Rich Gomez says, Come Back to Me. Robert Brittenham, Love Will Never Do Without You. If and Control. Kim Goff also says If. Jack Smith, What About from Velvet Rope. Sean Ogren, Escapade. That's probably my favorite song, Escapade, and I have a story. That was one of the first dances that I saw my daughter do in her hip-hop class, and it's one of the best hip-hop dances I had ever seen in my life, was to Escapade, which is one of the reasons I love the song so much. Matt Geske says, Miss You Much. Love that song. Chris Louise, finally getting to my all-time favorite artist. Very cool. It has taken a long time to get to her, considering how many songs she has. All Right, Love Will Never Do, and Rhythm Nation are his 3. Mark Hayford says, When I Think of You gives me nostalgic memories of having hair. Very good. Chris Hutchinson Williams says, That's the Way Love Goes. Escapade and Rhythm Nation. Tara Morrison also says Escapade and also Nasty for Ms. Jackson. Ann Keene says Black Cat or Control. Mitch Worthington says Escapade. Jeffrey Marr, What Have You Done For Me Lately? One of her first hits from 1986. And that was, I think, the first 45 I ever bought was that song. And then the whole Control album is great. Jim Robertson says Nasty, among my top 40 all-time favorite songs. Peter Mercia says, Let's Wait a While and Come Back to Me. Mike Granz, I'm a guitar guy, so I'll have to go with Black Cat, which was Dave Barry on the album, Nuno Betancourt for the video, and Vernon Reid on an additional version of the song. All 3 are great. Scott Yates, Black Cat, and That's the Way Love Goes. Anthony Velasquez says, I love Janet, Madonna, Mariah, and Paula Abdul, all of the divas at that time. As far as Janet Jackson, my number 1 song is Love Will Never Do Without You. That seems to be the consensus as I'm going down this list. Hans Anderson says, again, tears me up almost every time I hear it. So much emotion. Aaron McCracken with Control. Kenny High says there's many, but Miss You Much does something to me every time I hear it, and Lonely, both from Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814. As Pam Turlow also picks Rhythm Nation, Fred Hawson, What Have You Done For Me Lately, and D. Roberts, Love Will Never Do Without You. Thank you, everybody, for your responses, and it's all in that late 80s, early 90s time period in which she was ruling the airwaves, even if a little bit in the shadow of Michael and all of the other divas. So which song is on this particular countdown? Well, it has the shortest title of any song that she's ever done, and one of the shortest titles in rock history. It only has 2 letters. I will be doing a special segment in just a couple of songs, of which this one will be mentioned. It's a smooth R&B hip-hop hit called If. It peaked at number 4 back in 1993, spent 21 weeks in the top 40. Let's hear Janet Jackson for the first time on this countdown. It's song number 2129. This is If. One thing that she could do that fellow contemporary divas Celine Dion and Whitney Houston could not was dance. Some of the choreography she had in her numbers and videos were astounding. She's Paula Abdul level, definitely. And did I mention she has 10 number ones, and we haven't hit any of them yet? That was Janet Jackson's introduction into the top 3,000, If, song number 2129. We're not going to hear her until season 2, but my God, are we going to hear her in season 2. That was Janet Jackson. We're going to stay in the early 90s for this next hit, and the R&B singer Pebbles. No, not the character from the Flintstones. This is Perry Arlette Reed, known professionally as Pebbles, from Oakland, California. In her career, she had 4 top 40 hits, 3 of them top 10. And we're going to hear all 3 of them. This is the first of 3, and all of them are in season 1. So let's get your Pebbles freak on. Remember, we had a big segment of songs by Natalie Cole. We're coming up on the segment of Pebbles songs. This is the first one, called Giving You the Benefit, a number 4 hit in 1990. It spent 13 weeks in the top 40, and it's song number 2128. Go right next to Janet Jackson in early 90s pop R&B. This is song number 2128, Giving You the Benefit. I would not be surprised, and I haven't checked this, but I would not be surprised if Pebbles had opened up for Janet Jackson at some point during their tours, because they do sound very similar. Interesting note, Pebbles is now an ordained minister under the name Sister Perry. She founded the Women of God Changing Lives Ministries in 2007. She lands right here of this first of 3 top 10 hits, Giving You the Benefit, song number 2128 on Billboard's top 3,000 songs of all time. The British invasion, which came in 1964 and displaced so many of the American artists that had come before it, didn't feature just the Beatles. It wasn't just the Beatles and the Stones. It also featured some other groups like Herman's Hermits, who we have not heard from yet. They had actually 18 top 40 hits between 1964 and 1968, enormously popular. They're kind of British bubblegum pop rock, almost like the cleanest stuff that the Beatles would do would be the stuff that Herman's Hermits would always do. Of their 18 top 40 hits, 11 of them went top 10. They all had pretty short runs in the top 40 because it was in the mid-60s primarily. If this had been a top 4,000 countdown, we would hear them 8 times, but because it's a top 3,000, we're only going to hear them 3. This is the first one, a number 2 hit called Can't You Hear My Heartbeat from 1965. And because it was number 2, what song held it out of the top spot. Can't You Hear My Heartbeat debuted on February 20th, 1965 at song number 38, and it took 6 weeks to climb all the way up to number 2 for 2 weeks, but was held out by Diana Ross and the Supremes' Stop in the Name of Love both weeks, and then fell out just a few weeks later, although 11 weeks in the top 40 in the mid-60s was not too bad. There was so much heavy churning in the mid-60s. And it lands here at song number 2127. This is Herman's Hermits and their debut into the countdown with Can't You Hear My Heartbeat?
In the bar or walking down the highway, baby, baby, can't you hear my heartbeat? When you move up closer to me, I get a feeling that's ooey. Can't you hear the pounding of my heartbeat? 'Cause you're the one I love.
Written by John Carter and Ken Lewis and produced by Mickey Most, Herman's Hermits with Can't You Hear My Heartbeat, song number 2127. I had mentioned that they don't have a lot of staying power because of the 60s. Of their 18 top 40 hits, no song was in the top 40 for more than 11. This one and Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, their number 1 hit. All told, they've only spent a grand total of 130 weeks in the top 40 amongst their 18 songs. Heck, you can do that in 3 songs now by the same artist. I'm sure that's possible. It just shows you the difference in the way we consume music. We will hear their 2 number 1 hits, Mrs. Brown and I'm Henry VIII, later in this countdown. Let's zoom up to the year 2020 and one of our most recent pop stars on this countdown, Harry Styles. We already heard him once with the number 6 hit, Adore You, at song number 2270. He has 2 number 1s, one the incredible smash from 2022, As It Was. There's one that might even be more of his signature hit, a number 1 hit from 2020 called Watermelon Sugar. It was inspired by the 1968 novel In Watermelon Sugar by Richard Brautigan. Definitely a cool pop rock funk song that was on the airwaves for a long, long damn time. Harry Styles with song number 2126. This is the number 1 hit, Watermelon Sugar.
Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high.
Such wonderful 20s pop. I love the fact that we can combine Herman Hermits pop and Janet Jackson pop and Harry Styles pop all together with no more difference than just the number of points they amassed in the Billboard Top 40. That was Harry Styles with Watermelon Sugar, song number 2126. His last song, As It Was, is one of the top 100 songs of all time, so we won't be hearing from him for quite some time. Our special segment today, short titles, songs throughout Billboard history that had very, very few letters in the titles themselves. We just heard Janet Jackson's If, one of the shortest titles in Billboard history with only 2 letters. In Billboard history, there are exactly 88 songs through 2020 that have 3 characters or less in the title. This includes numerics as well as letters. Songs like One and Cry and Red and Nag and Pop and Fly have all graced the charts at one time or another. Numerics like 911 and 808 are 2 more. We've even had 9 songs hit number 1 that had 3 characters in it, like WAP from Cardi B, to Bad by Michael Jackson, to S&M by Rihanna, Ben by Michael Jackson, ABC, The Jackson 5, Y, Frankie Avalon, War, Edwin Starr, OMG by Usher, and the highest one that is ranked of all time with 3 characters is Low by Flo Rida, a number 1 hit for 10 weeks. Now, there are no songs that hit number 1 that had only 1 or 2 characters in them. In fact, there's only 21 songs total that have either 1 or 2 characters in them. They range from He by the Righteous Brothers, As by Stevie Wonder, 23 by Mike Will Made It, If by Bread and If by Janet Jackson, which is the second highest rated song with 2 characters or less. We've heard 3 in this countdown: Up by Cardi B, the number 3 by Britney Spears, and If. The number 1 song of all time that has 2 characters or less is OH by Ciara, a number 2 hit from 2005. Does it go all the way to 1 character? It does. 6 times, as a matter of fact. 2 numerics, 3, which I've already mentioned, by Britney Spears, and Prince's song 7. But there are 4 letters in there with exactly 1 character. Lil Skies hit number 39 with the song I. Kendrick Lamar also hit number 39 with the song I, lowercase. 21 Savage and Metro Boomin hit number 36 with X. And the top song of all time with just 1 letter in it is Omarion's O, which hit number 27 back in 2005. And there is the journey of songs with short titles. We'll do another one with long titles. I can tell you the song with the most characters in it is 87. We'll get to that another time, though. And now on with the countdown and song number 2125. The TV show Makin' It from 1979 was a disco-inspired situation comedy that aired on ABC for only 9 episodes. It was quickly forgotten. However, the title song to that TV show was sung by the show's star, David Naughton. You remember him. He was in the Dr. Pepper commercials. I'm a pepper, she's a pepper. Well, that song actually was released and went all the way up to number 5 in 1979. It was still the disco craze. And it lands right here, his one and only hit at song number 2125. This is David Naughton and Makin' It.
Poverty, the top of the ladder is waiting for me. I'm making it. I've got the chance, I'm taking it. No more faking it. This time in life, I'm making it.
Written by Freddie Perren and Dino Ficaris, David Naughton actually asked to sing that song for the TV series, and then after the series went away, it became part of the soundtrack of the movie Meatballs, starring Bill Murray. So a little bit of history there with David Naughton's Makin' It, song number 2125 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. Moving on to song number 2124, and Chicago is back. We heard them a few times. Both the 70s version of Chicago and the 80s version of Chicago. They were in the very first podcast with What Kind of Man Would I Be at song 2997, back when I only played about 5-second clips, and now I'm playing 20-second clips. We heard them at 25 or 6 to 4 at song 2899, and Baby What a Big Surprise at 2468. Well, this is another 80s version after Peter Cetera left the group and was replaced by bassist Jason Scheff. This was his first time to shine as lead vocalist once Peter Cetera left in 85. It came out in 86 called Will You Still Love Me? And apparently Chicago fans did. It went all the way up to number 3 in 1987 after spending 13 weeks in the top 40. Lands right here at song number 2124. Here's a good 20-second clip for you. Chicago with Will You Still Love Me?
Will you still love me for the rest of my life? 'Cause I can't go on. No, I can't go on. I can't go on if I'm on my own.
They were still quite a different band from the horns heavy sections of the 70s, but even with the new vocalists, they still had that great Chicago sound. That was Will You Still Love Me, song number 2124 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. We've got 7 Chicago songs left to go, both in Season 2 and in Season 3, including their 3 number 1 hits later in this countdown. We're going to stay in 1987 and page 3 British tabloid model Samantha Fox. Remember her? She's the one that had the jeans in the video that had a hole in the butt cheek and didn't wear any underwear. For a 14-year-old kid, it was a video I always liked to watch. When I say page 3, it was the British tabloid The Sun that had a topless model on page 3 of that magazine. She was voted in 2008 the top page 3 pinup model of all time. As a pop pop star. She had a nice little run in 1987 through 1989 with 4 top 40 hits in the States, including 3 top 10s. I Want to Have Some Fun, a number 8 hit. Naughty Girls Need Love 2, a number 3 hit, which we'll be hearing later. And this one, her first hit from 1987, called Touch Me, I Want Your Body. Yes, that is the video in which I'm referring. Spent 13 weeks in the top 40 and 2 1987 songs back to back. This one just outlasts Chicago. Here is song number 2123, Touch Me, I Want Your Body by Samantha Fox.
This is the night, yeah. This is the night. This is the time. We've got to get it right. This is the night. Touch me. I wanna feel your body, your heartbeat next to mine. This is the night. Touch me.
A little more pop rock than pop dance. Samantha Fox with the first of her 2 hits on this countdown. Song number 2123, that was Touch Me, I Want Your Body. Song number 2122 was written by husband and wife team Dan Peek and Catherine Peek, and it was an optimistic answer song to the Beatles song Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby was a very sad, melancholy hit about a woman who died and no one really noticed. And that lyric, all the lonely people, where do they all come from, where do they all belong, really, really struck the songwriters. So they created this answer song called Lonely People, and the English-American pop group America recorded it in 1975, and it became the 3rd highest recording in America's career. This is the 3rd of their 5 songs that we've heard on this countdown. We heard Tin Man at song 2510 and You Can Do Magic at 2347. Well, now here's the number 5 hit, Lonely People. Spent 10 weeks in the top 40 in 1975, and it lands right here at song number 2122, the penultimate song of this set. This is Lonely People.
This is for all the lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup and ride that highway in the sky.
I think this is a perfect song for the pleasant-sounding America. It was originally demoed with the thought that Love and Spoonful lead singer John Sebastian would record it, but I think it was the right call to have America record this, and audiences agreed as it went all the way up to number 5 in 1975. They've got 2 more hits, both number 1s, one in season 2, one in season 3. We'll get to them both. And we're up to the last song in this set. Who will win the drum roll today? Last set it was Jackie Blue by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, where they're going to hand it off to one of the biggest pop stars of the 2010s. We have already heard him a lot as the featured performer of another artist's song. Highlighter is one of them. Young, Wild and Free is another, but we've only heard him as a solo effort once with the Lazy Song. Well, he is back, and although this song features Cardi B, he wrote it and he gets the credit for it. It's a 2018 song that went all the way up to number 3 after spending 22 weeks in the top 40. I'm talking about Bruno Mars, of course. Inspired by a little Bobby Brown or Michael Jackson or Belle Biv DeVoe of the early 90s, he's putting a little New Jack swing into his groove. Do you want to hear it? Song number 2121, and the top song of this set is Bruno Mars with a little help from Cardi B and Finesse.
That's right, we out here jumping in finesse. It don't make no sense, out here jumping in finesse. You know it, you know. We out here jumping in finesse. It don't make no sense, out here jumping in finesse. You know it, you know it.
For those of us who wax nostalgic about the 70s, 80s, and 90s, which is pretty much all of my listeners, I am so glad Bruno Mars is around in the 2010s because he brings that music back, but with his own flavor. This is one wonderful example, Finesse. Bruno Mars song number 2121 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. We're going to hear him and his solo efforts 8 more times, including 6 number ones, most of them in season 3. He was really popular in the 2010s. This is my 50th recording of this countdown. 44 regular episodes and 6 bonus episodes. And it is done on the 1-year anniversary date, December 17th, of my very first episode. Between my original audio.com account and my current Buzzsprout account, I have 8,228 downloads in 1 year. My goodness. If you have stuck around for the entire year and 44 episodes and 6 bonus episodes, I am eternally, eternally grateful. A lot of you I know already now through various DMs and on the Facebook group and all the mentions that I have in this podcast. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for you listening and enjoying it. But it has been an incredible journey to this point, and I am excited to get to the next chapters and the next chapters until we finally get to number 1. We're still a couple of years out, but I will do my darndest to keep it going and keep it moving until we get to every single song. I will be taking a break for the Christmas holiday, so there won't be any episode on Christmas Eve. I don't want to do that to you guys. Listen to the Christmas music. It's totally okay. And I will go back to work following Christmas so that you'll get something before the end of the new year. So you can do a countdown episode that finishes the 2100s out at right about the time we hear all of the year-end countdowns. And as always, I will end this episode like I end the other 43 by playing a montage of the clips that we have heard today. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you are safe. I hope you are happy. I hope you are content. And thank you for letting me be part of your lives, as you are a part of mine always. It is one of the great pleasures in life to connect with people, both through music and through words. I hope I've done both. And so on, and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Good day.
It's gonna be a strange twist of fate, telling me that heaven can wait, telling me to get it right this time. Life doesn't mean nothing without the love you bring.
I dig it.
I'm shouting all about love. Well, they cheated you like a dog, and you were the one who had made it so clear all those years ago. Just to walk with you along the Milky Way, to caress you through the nighttime, bring you flowers every day. Oh, babe, what would you say?
I know, you don't want me no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. And it had to be someone else for loving you more, no more, loving you more, no more.
My body all over your body.
It's your body,
Your body all over my body.
yours over
My
mine.
body all over your body. It's your body, babe.
It's your body, babe.
My body all over your body,
It's
babe.
you.
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot cause I'm fly. You ain't cause you not. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. I don't gotta rap. I could sell a mill saying nothing on the track. I represent New York. I got it on my back. Niggas say that we lost it, so I'ma bring it back.
Don't you know who I am? Remember my name. Hey, I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly. Oh, I feel it coming together. People will see me and cry.
She wanted more than I could give.
walking down the highway. Baby, baby, can't you hear my heartbeat? When you move up closer to me, I get a feeling that's ooey. Can't you hear the pounding of my heartbeat? 'Cause you're the one I love.
Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high.
Find poverty, the top of the ladder is waiting for me. I'm making it. I've got the chance, I'm taking it. No more faking it. This time in life, I'm making it.
Will you still love me for the rest of my life? 'Cause I can't go on, no I can't go on, I can't go on if I'm on my own.
This is the night, yeah. This is the night. This is the time. We've got to get it right. This is the night. Touch me, touch me. I wanna feel your body, your heartbeat next to mine. This is the night. Touch me.
This is for all the lonely people, thinking that life has passed them by. Don't give up until you drink from the silver cup and ride that high.